It was a chilly evening in the quiet little town of Maplewood. The sky was painted in shades of deep orange and soft purple, the kind of sunset that quietly closes yet another ordinary day. Maplewood wasn't the kind of place where much happened. Life here moved slowly, comfortably. A surprise snowstorm or a local festival was about as exciting as it got. For most people, that was enough. It was the kind of town where you could settle down, raise a family, and feel safe from the chaos of the world. But for me, that sense of peace had started to feel like a lie. My name is Emily Carter, and I've lived in Maplewood my entire life. I used to find comfort in its simplicity, the calm, the predictability. 5 years ago, I married Michael Carter. We built a quiet life in a cozy little house on Oak Street. Michael worked as an insurance adjuster, and I worked from home as a freelance photographer. We had a sweet dog named Charlie. Our days were filled with long walks, quiet dinners, and weekend hikes. It wasn't exciting, but it was ours, and it felt right. At least, it used to. The changes came slowly, too slowly for me to notice at first. Little cracks in the picture-perfect life we'd built. Michael started working late more often. He said there were urgent cases, too much paperwork. He seemed stressed and distracted, and I chalked it up to work. But then things began to feel off. His phone started staying face down on the counter. He kept glancing at it like he was waiting for something or someone. At first, I ignored it, told myself I was being paranoid. But the feeling wouldn't go away. Then, one night, I was cleaning the living room when I noticed his study door slightly ajar. Unusual, since he always kept it shut while working. I paused, hesitated, then peeked in. He was at his laptop, face lit by the glow of the screen. Focused. He paused to glance at his phone, and that's when I saw it. A message notification lit up. One word, one name, that made my heart stop. Amanda. I stood frozen, trying to stay calm. Who was Amanda? Why had I never heard of her before? My mind swirled with questions I didn't want to ask. I told myself it was probably nothing. Just a friend, a client, a mistake. But deep down, I knew. The next day, while he was out running errands, I did something I never thought I'd do. I checked his phone. His password was the same as always. He never changed it, never needed to. I felt a surge of guilt, but it was buried beneath a heavier feeling. The need to know the truth. With trembling hands, I unlocked Michael's phone. My heart was pounding, my breath shallow, as if my body already knew what my mind refused to believe. I opened the message thread with Amanda. At first, everything seemed harmless. Their messages were casual, friendly even, nothing suspicious. But the deeper I scrolled, the clearer it became. The tone had shifted. Flirty comments, inside jokes, compliments, plans to catch up soon. The kind of messages you send to someone you're drawn to, someone you're hiding. These weren't just friendly conversations. These were stolen moments, whispers of something forbidden, and none of them were meant for me. Each word I read felt like a blade twisting deeper into my chest. The man I had built a life with, the man I trusted more than anyone, had a secret, and that secret had a name. Amanda. I felt sick, betrayed, lost. This wasn't just a casual friendship. This was emotional infidelity, or worse. And it wasn't with someone I knew, or even someone he'd mentioned in passing. Amanda was a ghost in our life, hidden in plain sight. I couldn't confront him. Not yet. I didn't even know what to say. My world had just shifted, and I was trying not to fall apart with it. Days passed in a blur. I went through the motions, but inside I was crumbling. I avoided him, avoided eye contact, avoided conversations. I wasn't ready, but I was watching, listening. Michael, meanwhile, acted as though nothing had changed, still late from work, still distracted, still lying. It was like he didn't notice the distance growing between us, or maybe he just didn't care. But I couldn't stay silent forever. I needed answers, I needed truth, and I needed him to say it to my face. One quiet evening after dinner, I finally decided it was time. We were sitting in the living room. Michael was on the couch, scrolling through his phone, completely absorbed. I sat across from him, watching him, heart pounding, palms sweating. This was it. "Michael," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. He looked up, surprised. "Yeah? Everything okay, Emily?" I hesitated. "I need to ask you something." He put his phone down, slowly. "Sure. What's going on?" I took a breath so deep it almost hurt. "Who is Amanda?" The color drained from his face. He froze, eyes wide, jaw slightly open, like he'd just been caught mid-crime. He shifted in his seat, ran a hand nervously through his hair. "Emily, I can explain." "Explain," I echoed, my voice rising. "You can explain how you've been texting her for months behind my back?" The room fell into heavy silence, and I knew this was just the beginning. "How long, Michael?" My voice cracked. "How long have you been hiding this? Lying to me?" He stood up suddenly, running his hands through his hair like he was trying to pull the words out of his own head. He began pacing the room, eyes darting, mouth opening, then closing again. "It's not what you think, Emily," he finally said. "It was a mistake. I never meant for it to go this far." "A mistake?" Anger surged through me like fire in my veins. "You call this a mistake?" I snapped. "Meeting her behind my back? Lying to me for months? That's not a mistake, Michael. That's betrayal." He stopped pacing and turned to me. His eyes were glassy, full of regret. But regret doesn't erase lies. "I never wanted to hurt you," he said quietly. "I swear it just happened. It wasn't planned. But it's over now. It's done." I shook my head slowly, my chest tight with disbelief. "No, Michael, it's not done. You didn't just break a promise. You shattered everything we built, everything I believed in." He stepped toward me, his hand reaching out, trembling. "Emily, please. I love you. I never meant for it to get this far." But his words felt distant, hollow echoes in a room full of silence. My heart was already breaking, and no apology could stitch it back together. I stared at him for what felt like forever. The man standing in front of me wasn't the man I thought I married. He wasn't my Michael. He was a stranger wearing his face. "I thought I knew you," I whispered. "But now I realize I never did." His expression collapsed, the pain raw and visible. "I'm sorry," he said again, almost in a whisper. "Please, don't do this." I took a step back. Just one step, but it felt like crossing a canyon. It was in that moment I knew I couldn't stay. Not when every word felt like a lie, not when love had turned into something that hurt more than it healed. "I have to go," I said quietly. "I can't stay in something that's already broken." And with that, the life we had once shared began to dissolve. Not in a sudden storm, but in a quiet, devastating goodbye.